Hello, in this video I'm going to discuss introduction to algorithm. First of all, I will discuss what is algorithm, then I'll discuss features of algorithm, then complexity of an algorithm I'll discuss, then time complexity, what is space complexity, what is asymptotic notations and why asymptotic notations are used and how they are used. Then I'll discuss big O notation, big omega notation and theta notation. So, algorithm is an ordered set of well-defined instructions to perform some specific task in finite time. That means all the instructions of an algorithm should be well-defined, and the instructions of the algorithm should execute to complete infinite time. And we give some values as input to the algorithm. Algorithm, after processing, it gives us output. These are the features of an algorithm. Finiteness, that means the algorithm should terminate after a finite number of steps. Well defined, it says that all the instructions in the algorithm should be well defined. The instructions should not be ambiguous. Effectiveness, it says that all the operations used in the algorithm are basic and can be performed exactly in a fixed duration of time. Then input says that an algorithm has one or more input, and output says that algorithm will produce an output after processing. This is one of the example of an algorithm for adding two numbers entered by the user. So here the problem is to add two numbers entered by the user. And we know that algorithm is the step-by-step way of writing the solutions of the problem. So the problem is add two numbers entered by the user, and the solution is written here in a step-by-step manner. First step is start. Second step is declare variables num1, num2, and sum. So here num1 and num2 are the variables where the numbers entered by the user will be stored, and sum is the variable where the result of the sum will be stored. So here num1, num2, and sum declared. Then in step 3, read num1 and num2 from the user. And after reading in step 4, they will be added and result will be stored in the variable sum. So that is written here, sum equals to num1 plus num2. Then in step 5, result is displayed. Then step 6, stop. Algorithm is terminated. Similarly, this is another algorithm for solving this problem where the problem is find the largest number among three numbers, and this is the algorithm. Then algorithm complexity. So complexity of an algorithm M is the function Fn that gives the running time and or storage space requirement of the algorithm in terms of input data of size n. So basically algorithm complexity can be represented by a function Fn where n is the input data size. So the algorithm complexity means the complexity and space complexity. We can represent the time complexity and space complexity by using this function Fn, where n is the input data size. Now, what is time complexity and what is space complexity? Time complexity is the time required to complete the execution of the algorithm, and space complexity is the storage space required to complete the execution of the algorithm. So we can represent the time required to complete the execution of the algorithm and the space requirement of the algorithm to complete its execution by a function. That function is Fn, and where n is the input data size. So this is algorithm complexity. It is basically a function Fn to represent required time, that is running time of the algorithm, and the storage space requirement. Time complexity, as I discussed in the previous slide, it is the time required by the algorithm to complete all the instructions of the algorithm. And how we can find the time complexity of the algorithm? By counting the number of steps or number of operations used in the algorithm, we can find the time complexity. So you first count the number of steps, and each step takes certain time. And how much time each step takes, it depends on the computer architecture. So when you multiply the number of steps of the algorithm with each step taking time, then you will get the total time required by that algorithm to complete its execution. So this is time complexity. It is the total time required by the algorithm to complete its execution. Similarly, space complexity is the memory space required by the algorithm to complete its execution during its life cycle. Then algorithm analysis. So there are basically three types of algorithm analysis. We analyze the algorithm in three ways: best case analysis, worst case analysis, and average case analysis. Suppose I am considering the time complexity, that means the running time, how much time the algorithm is taking, and what is the best case, what is the worst case, and what is the average case. I'll discuss here. Best case time complexity means the minimum value that is required by the algorithm to complete its execution. That is best case. And if we represent that in function, so it is the minimum value of the function fn for any possible input size. This is best case time complexity. It is the minimum time required by an algorithm to complete its execution for an input size n. And worst case time complexity is the maximum value of the time that the algorithm will take to complete its execution, and it is the upper bound. Best case is the lower bound, and worst case is the upper bound. And we can find the we can find the maximum value of this function fn, that is the worst case time complexity. Then average case time complexity, it is the expected value of the function fn. And how to find this? By averaging all the times for all possible inputs, we can find this average case time complexity. So best case time complexity is the lower bound, worst case time complexity is the upper bound, and average case time complexity is the expected value of time. And we are representing here the time complexity using this function fn. The best case time complexity is determined by finding the minimum value of this function fn. Worst case time complexity is found by finding the maximum value of this function fn, and average case time complexity is found by finding the expected value of the function fn. Then asymptotic notations. So these are the mathematical notations used to describe the running time and space requirement of an algorithm. So we can represent the time complexity and space complexity of an algorithm by using some mathematical notations, and these notations are known as asymptotic notations. So the meaning of asymptotic means close to the verb, not connected. So here we are finding the close value. So there are basically these five types of asymptotic notations. First notation is big O notation, big O notation, and it is the symbol big O. Then big omega notation, this is the symbol. Theta notation, this is the symbol for theta notation. Then little O notation, this is the symbol for little O notation. Then little omega notation, this is the symbol for little omega notation. I will discuss these three in this video: big O notation, big omega notation, and theta notation. And these two notations I'll discuss later. So big O notation, this one, is used to define the upper bound of the running time and the space requirement also. But here in this case, I will only discuss the running time. I will find here the upper bound of the running time using this big O notation. So I am using a function fn for representing the time complexity of an algorithm. So the big O notation is used to find the upper bound of this function fn. So upper bound of this function fn, it can be gn. So gn is the upper bound of this function fn if and only if this condition satisfies. So we can say that fn is equals to big O of g of n if this condition satisfies. What is the condition? If there exist positive constants c and n0 such that 0 less than equals to fn less than equals to c into gn for all n greater than equals to n0. Then we can say that fn equals to big of g of n, and this g of n is the upper bound or upper bound value of the function fn. And here gn is asymptotically upper bound of fn because it is not the exact value. And this diagram tells this big O notation representation. You can see this curve is for fn and this is for c into gn, and this point is n0. So after this, from this n0 point, the fn curve is below, it is less than this c into gn curve. So at all these points from this n0 point, fn is less than from c into gn, and this is satisfied. This condition is satisfied here, and this diagram is the diagram for this big O notation, that is asymptotic upper bound. So definition of big O you can see here. Definition we can write this way: fn equals to big O of g of n. You can see how it is written. It is written as fn equals to big O of g of n if there exist. This symbol is for there exist. So if there exist c greater than 0 and n0 belongs to z plus. Z plus means this value 1, 2, 3, all these values. So starting from 1, all the positive values, these are the z plus values. So if there exists c greater than 0 and n0 belongs to z plus, such that fn is less than or equal to c into gn for all n, this symbol is for all. So for all n greater than or equal to n0. So if this condition satisfies, then only we can say that fn equals to big of g of n. Let us take one example. Here fn equals to n square plus n. Now, suppose I'll write here, I'll substitute n square by n here. So it will become 2n square. So we can say that n square plus n is less than or equals to 2n square. This is true. Now, here for all n belongs to z plus, for all n greater than or equals to 1, this is satisfied. If we take value of n equals to 1, so 1 square plus 1 is 2, which is less than or equal to 2 into 1 square, that is 2. So this is satisfied. So if we are taking value of n is 1, this is satisfied. If we are taking value of n is 2, also this is satisfying. If we take value of n 3, this is also satisfying. So you take any value greater than or equal to 1, this equation is satisfying. So we can say that fn equals to big of n square, and here c is 2 and n0 is 1, because so you take any value starting from 1, this equation will satisfy. So we can write fn equals to big of n square, and here gn is n square and c is 2. Here gn is n square and c is 2. So this is the example of big O notation. Here is another example. Suppose the function fn is half n square plus 3n plus 5, and we can write this, if you write this half n square plus 3n plus 5 less than equals to 2n square. Now let us put the value of n 1 here in this equation. It is not satisfying. Put 2, value of n equals to 2, this is not satisfying. Put value of n equals to 3, this is not satisfying. And if you put value of n equals to 4, then this is satisfied. So here in this case, we can say that the n0 value is 4, n0 value is 4, and c value is 2. So we can write here that fn equals to big of n square for all n greater than equals to 4 and c equals to 2. So this is satisfying the definition of big O notation, and hence here the gn value is n square. This n square is the upper bound of this function half n square plus 3n plus 5, and this is written in this way: fn equals to big O of n square for all n greater than equals to 4 and c equals to 2. So n0 is 4 and c equals to 2 in this case. Then big omega, it is asymptotic lower bound, and this is the minimum value of the time. This defines the minimum value of the time that an algorithm will take. And here we will find the minimum value of the function fn. So here function is fn, and the minimum value of the function fn is gn, and we can write that using this big omega notation. So fn equals to big omega of g of n if this condition satisfies. That means there exists positive constant c and n0 such that 0 less than equals to c into gn less than equals to fn for all n greater than equals to n0. If this condition satisfies, then we can say that fn is equals to big omega of g of n. That means g of n is the lower bound of fn. G of n function is the lower bound of this function fn. And here gn is an asymptotic lower bound of fn. And you can see in this diagram, this is c into gn core and this is fn core. This c into gn core is less than this fn core starting from this point n0. So this is your big omega notation. And you can see in this diagram the definition of big omega notation is written. So fn equals to, the definition is fn equals to big omega of g of n if and only if there exists c greater than 0 and n0 belongs to z plus such that c into gn less than equals to fn for all n greater than equals to n0. An example, see here example, fn, suppose fn equals to n square plus n, and if we write n square plus n greater than n square, and if we put value of n1, then this is satisfied. If we put value of 2 also, this is satisfied. And if you put value of n is 3 4, whatever you put, this equation is satisfied. So we can write here that fn equals to big omega of n square, and here n square is the gn function, and this is the lower bound value for this function n square plus n. And here in this case, the value of c is 1 because 1 into n square. So here 1 is there. So c value is 1, and n0 value is also 1 because when we put value 1, it is satisfied, and starting from 1, whatever value we are putting here, all are satisfying. That's why here n0 is 1 and c is 1. So this is the example of lower bound, that is big omega notation. Then the third one is theta notation, and it is the asymptotic tight bound. So asymptotic tight bound means actually here the function fn is bounded from the upper end and from the lower end. Both the ends it is bound. That's why it is known as tight bound. So here Jn is an asymptotically tight bound for the function fn because fn here is bounded by this two c2 into gn and c1 into gn. Fn is greater than c1 into gn and fn is less than c2 into gn after this n0 point. So that's why we can write here fn equals theta of g of n. So here this fn's tight bound, asymptotic tight bound, we can write it as theta of g of n. So fn equals to theta of g of n, we can write if this condition satisfies. The condition is if there exists positive constant c1, c2 and n0 such that 0 less than equals to c1 into gn less than equal to fn less than equals to c2 into gn, c2 g of n for all n greater than equals to n0. If this condition satisfies, then we can say that fn equals to big O of theta of g of n. And remember this theta of g of n is actually class of function. It is not a single value. Similarly, in other cases like when we say fn equals to big O of g of n or big omega of g of n, it is class of function. That's not a single value. So this is your theta notation. It is asymptotic tight bound. So here for theta notation for asymptotic tight bound, the fn function lies in between this c1 into gn and c2 into gn. It is greater than c1 into gn and less than c2 into gn after starting from this n0 value. This is the definition of theta notation. So Fn equals theta of g of n if and only if there exists C1 and C2 greater than 0 and n0 belongs to Z plus such that C1 into Gn less than equals to Fn less than equal to C2 into G of n for all n greater than equal to n0. If this condition satisfied, then we can say that Fn equals to theta of G of n. And there is an alternative definition of theta notation, Fn equals to theta of g of n, if and only if Fn equals to big of g of n and also Fn equals to big omega of g of n. If these two conditions satisfies, then we can say that Fn equals to theta of g of n. So if a function, if Fn equals to theta of g of n, then it is satisfying this big O of g of condition and also it is satisfying big omega of condition. So we have already seen in the previous slides that for the function fn equals to n square plus n, we know that the lower bound of this function is big omega of n square for some value of c and n0. Similarly, the upper bound of this function is big omega of n square for some value of c and n0. So it is satisfying both the cases, big O notation and big omega, that is the upper bound, and lower bound case it is satisfying. So we can say that Fn equals to theta of g of theta of n square, and here Gn value is n square. So this is all about your theta notation. So I discussed about algorithm and features of algorithm, complexity of the algorithm, time complexity, space complexity, asymptotic notations, and the analysis of the algorithm I discussed. Thank you.